At its peak, it was the world's largest producer of lead. Kabwe mine operated from 1906 to 1994. But despite its closure 30 years ago, the toxins from the lead are still causing diseases and death. According to estimates, over 100,000 residents of Kabwe have been affected by lead poisoning. Among the heavily polluted communities are Mutwe Wansofu, Showa, Makululu, Kasanda, and Magandanyama.
The side effect of lead contamination is that for men, we become dysfunctional, male dysfunctional organs, no, and for women, untimely pregnancy getting terminated, and usually in Africa, we can usually point fingers to say, no, there's a witch within around, when in fact it is not a witch, but the contamination from the ground. For pupils, school-going pupils, they become very down in class. The academic excellence is reduced because of we have about 10 cases here, which people are still taking their children for medication. The only thing that can reduce lead in the body is that you leave the most contaminated place, you go to where there's no contamination. Then the food intake that you are taking is the one that will reduce the portion of lead in the body.
In an effort to mitigate the situation, government has made several strides in addressing the situation. With the support from the World Bank, government is implementing the 5-year Zambia Mining and Environmental Remediation Improvement Project, ZEMRIP, to reduce lead poisoning. The project also extends to the mining towns of Kitwe, Mufurira, and Chingola on the Copper Belt.
3 million kwacha was set aside for treatment of lead poisoning. And as of now, I can confess and confirm that 15,000 individuals have been tested. And out of that, 1,800, representing 15%, have been found to be infected with lead, and they've been treated. That is how far this government can go. We do not only talk, we walk the talk. And not only that, there was an aspect of education.
The major point of contamination for the communities is a canal which runs from Makululu through Kasanda and Choa townships. The canal was used to ferry contaminated substances, and over the years, it spread toxins to various communities.
So the clearing, concrete lining of the canal enables the hydraulic flow, meaning that when it rains, there will be no blockages, there will be no floods. All the contaminated soil, all the contaminated water will flow down the stream into the valley where there are no inhabitants at all. So that is the reason as to why this particular canal is supposed to be done. The canal, initially, we should have done about 6.2 kilometers. It cuts across 4 townships, starting from Makululu all the way to Waya and Katondo. And we have broken down into 4 reaches. Reach 1, Makululu to Great North Road. Reach 2, Great North Road to the rail line. Reach 3, rail line to Choa Parish. Reach 4, Choa Parish to the Waya Katondo Bridge.
ZEMRIP has now rehabilitated it as part of its effort to remediate the impact of contamination.
Through the leadership of this president, a president who cares for his people, we did not only cater for 900 households, we catered for 1,200 households, and the kilometerage that was supposed to be done was 6.2 kilometers to cover from Makululu, that is heavily hit and mine area, into Kawasaki area. So we catered, instead of 6.2, the initial target, we went beyond target. That is how this president is managing. He went up to 8.5 kilometers. And that is to say, the entire canal on both sides is concretized. There's concrete put on both sides. And then on the sides, there is a target that has already started to put wall fence on both sides, on either sides of the canal, so that there's no encumbrance whatsoever when it floods.
And because lead contamination is mainly through the spread of dust particles, the project has embarked on laying towers in various communities to reduce contact with contaminated soil.
We arrived here on site in October, and how far we've gone, we have done almost 30% of the project, and our target is to finish within time. So what we are doing right now is paving houses in Kasanda, and our target is to pave over 700 houses. But we've got a few technical guys who are from around the country, Lusaka, Cover Belt, but the rest of the people, they are local guys. Especially on this project, we know it's specifically for the locals, and we are engaging local people. They are in the houses, and we are engaged, so most of the workers are local guys.
Hundreds of households have seen their yards paved by the project. This has led to children playing on safer surfaces.
This project is going to help us here, especially on our children, because it has the effect of lead. And we're having problems with our kids. They are slow learners, some are slow learners. They can't understand what the teachers are teaching them. Their minds are slow, so it will help us, even our kids, to pick, even in classes. It is very good thing that they have bring us to put these things around us. We are happy, and we are very much happy. We have appreciated to the people who are doing this World Bank.
Ichitofu chena chavabwino kuti ati vavikepo dushimo chitofu chishime pantu chire pango busati tachire moneka bwino nga chakuti ape chire mafeso
twambira kuma M section twalipwisha kusherefya ma few touch ups kulya, then ma BB natupwisha, ma D section natupwisha, tuli mu E section na ena E section twalapwisha nombaleni twala kuma G. Okay. Yeah.
This amambo ko
twatampile project mu November. Kuli ifuba main contractor tuli about 150, then natukwatana ma subbies. Yeah. It's a big team otherwise.
This job has helped us, more especially us youths. 3/4 of us were non-employed, but we're now employed. We're having something to do. And then according to the residents, they are very much proud of what we're doing because lead affects them, brings downers and other diseases. So I highly thank the people that have brought this project because paving is reducing lead.
Paving has also been extended to schools and health facilities. At St. Mary's Secondary School, the walkways have been paved. The project has also provided a water rectification system.
With this coming in of this project, we are very happy as a school. We much appreciate for the government to bring in under which is funded by the World Bank. It has helped us a lot because when depending on Kanga water, sometimes there is no water, and looking at the number of pupils that we have just on primary, we have about 1,030 plus. So with the coming in of this, at least now we have enough running water. I'm sure when you went around the project, there is a new garden just starting. We have started this project because this garden is production unit, which is also a government directive. So on each school, we should have a production unit so that learners they are able to cope those other skills, not only in class.
Altogether in Kabwe, 80 schools have had their walkways paved and water supplied using solar power. This is keeping pupils safe from lead contamination.
If you go to my primary school, as I'm speaking to you now, it is a marvel. The school is worth a school because it is at the heart of the most contaminated areas. So we have paved the entire school premises, we have watered, it's green, and we have put up a borehole, and which is solar powered. They don't need to pay electricity bills, they don't need to pay to the utility company. They are getting this water free almost, and they are able to water the environment to make sure that they suppress the lead, so no dust around. Children are freely playing. The same concept has been escalated into schools where we have drilled boreholes, we have put up 10,000 liter tanks, solar powered, and you see, running. They have water throughout.
On the health side, 4 clinics have had their walkways paved. This is meant to protect patients as they seek medical attention. Kasanda Clinic is one of the health facilities where works are still ongoing. Another effort the ZEMRIP project has made is to buy a testing machine for lead. The machine has been stationed at Mine Hospital where people are being tested on a daily basis.
Because we had no any other means of screening and treating. Screening rather. So that prompted the Minister of Health to recommend that we should buy an ICP-MS machine, which is an inductively coupled plasma mass spectrophotometer. We had to buy this machine all the way from Germany. It has been installed at Rail Clinic. All right, and it's able to test lead in the blood. And for those who are found with lead in the blood, they are subjected to treatment. So that is another activity which we have been undertaking. So we started the screening, as I said, on 22nd March. And as I'm speaking to you, people are flocking to the facility to have their blood tested and be subjected to treatment accordingly.
Despite having been decommissioned over 30 years ago, those eager to make ends meet still desperately scavenge the mine for lead and zinc on a daily basis.
Ine kuno ndisamukuimba zinc nokutoba amavu. Amafi otusanga mulimu anga tureyimba fira tudirikire fira pona. Anga fya pona limbi nokutushika fira shika. Kolo baisa kushikula abantu. Bala bene turesanga na bena kaidi nshirine katwa babengi.
Kuno ifwe twimba lead na zinc na dolomite.
Mwimba kwisa?
Twimba kuno kwene ku Black Mountain na ku salvage yard. Amalwele kule abali chifine, kukola, chifuba na mumala limbi waikala 2 weeks ya toilet mlandu wa lead.
The illegal miners are now being engaged by the Zambia Mining and Environmental Remediation and Improvement Project so that they can engage in other businesses. So far, various illegal miners have formed cooperatives and have accessed funding from ZEMRIP to start small businesses.
They formed up cooperatives, which cooperatives we were ready to finance, and whatever they do, to win them off from going to the Black Mountain. As I'm speaking to you, we have financed 53 projects. On average, we are giving them about 250,000 kwacha as a startup capital. 53 cooperatives have been financed, and all these are running smoothly. Others are into carpentry, others are into fisheries, others are into poultry, others are into piggery, a number of them.
One of the cooperatives has set up a restaurant in Kasanda Township. The cooperative was funded by ZEMRIP and is now providing catering services on a commercial basis. Clients at this restaurant include residents of Kasanda, the traveling public, and workers who are implementing ZEMRIP.
The whole amount is 213. The total amount 213,000, but it came in 2-3 phases. The first phase was 78, if I'm not mistaken. So we used it to buy the equipment which we are using and the building. The second, it was also 70 something. Yes, we used it also. But ZEMRIP, they have worked. For me to stand here and to have all this, it's because of ZEMRIP. They have really helped us a lot. My life has changed. Everything. I really appreciate for ZEMRIP, because we used to make a day, maybe 9 kwacha, because tumastonzinga mwatubika, so it's 3 kwacha. Sometimes twareka rafika suba konse no baya. Kaya bantu impia la shupo kura. So we are just fine. Twale puskula ko if barabara chef tumbo ngatwashita ko tumbua ero manje bashita. I think my hands are clean now. See, people, my hands are clean. Because therefore it wasn't good. I must stand off on the equipment to unpack. And there are some people there, the women that side, they are still clashing, but they also need help.
The impact of ZEMRIP in mitigating lead poisoning has already been felt across Kabwe. Tangible projects are being implemented and appreciated by residents. Non-governmental organizations which are concerned are also contributing in fighting lead poisoning. Environment Africa is one such NGO which is implementing activities in Kabwe. In Choa Township, the organization has been laying a special cloth to protect people from lead poisoning.
We partnered with Pure Earth, formerly Blacksmith, and Kabwe Municipal Council to remediate some houses to lessen the exposure of lead pollution around Kabwe houses. So we did this in Choa Stage 1 and Stage 4. So in Choa Stage 4, we remediated about 80 households, which we cleaned. So basically, we are putting clean soil to to hide the contaminated soil down so that the exposure is lessened, especially for the children around Kabwe, because Environment Africa, mostly we are a child-focused organization, and we want to ensure that the child's welfare is well safeguarded and the environment is safe. When we were remediating these houses, we laid a geotextile down. It was quite costly, but yeah, the project had to fund that. So we laid a geotextile, and then we put gravel soil and then black soil on top. So it was meant for, the black soil was meant for the households to plant grass so that the dust exposure is lessened. It is not much, so that people do not inhale this contaminated soil. So after some years, so we see the households, because waste management is quite hard.
Apart from actively mitigating on the ground, Environment Africa is also holding sensitization and advocacy activities in areas worst affected by lead poisoning. This is being done to ensure that those living in danger zones protect themselves from further contamination.
We try to use different interventions to raise awareness. So one of them is through the radio programs that we do. These programs are normally done monthly. We do them with youths so that the youths can go in their communities and raise more awareness through their peers, through their parents. So we do also school talks with the different schools that we work with in Kabwe. We also have the schools that we work with in Chisamba and Chibongo. But in Kabwe, we are working with about 20 schools that we use to raise awareness. We teach the children about the different issues that have to do with lead, the interventions, how they can protect themselves, the dangers, the signs, and all that.
Internationally, civil society organizations are also concerned with the plight of the people in Kabwe. Human Rights Watch was recently in Kabwe assessing the situation.
Children living in the areas near the former mine, in places like, for example, Makululu, Choa, Okatando, and Kasanda, are having extremely high blood lead levels and are suffering lead poisoning as a result. Lead poisoning causes brain damage, intellectual disability, cardiovascular, so heart and kidney disease, as well as many, many other diseases. It can also kill. We at Human Rights Watch have documented how children's rights are impacted by this lead legacy. And together with organizations in Zambia, together with the Alliance for Lead-Free Kabwe, we're calling for a comprehensive cleanup of the source of the contamination of the former mine. So far, activities that have taken place in Kabwe to address the lead contamination have actually not looked at the source of the contamination itself, and therefore are unsustainable. What is really needed is a full, professional, technically sound, comprehensive cleanup of the former mine itself.
In an effort to end the continued lead poisoning, President Hakainde Hichilema set up an interministerial committee on lead poisoning, led by the Ministry of Green Economy and Environment.
The President took very seriously when a group of civil society organizations wrote to him to express their concern and really seeking his intervention. He responded very quickly to essentially put together an interministerial committee to evaluate what's happening on the ground, first and foremost led by the Ministry of Green Economy and Environment. I mean, you're well aware that this is for the first time in Zambia's history, you've got a ministry that's dedicated to appreciating not only matters of the environment, but of course, how it's associated from an economic standpoint. And of course, they've been given the mandate to essentially lead the charge together with the Ministry of Local Government, Ministry of Mines and Minerals Development, as well as the provincial ministry, and of course anchored by a cabinet office who are evaluating, who've completed the terms of reference and are essentially in the process of appointing the committee, which will be comprised of the ministries mentioned, as well as the civil society organizations, in a highly consultative manner, so that we're not only hearing the voices of those in civil society, but at the same time, government is playing an active role. All entities, all stakeholders who have an interest in this particular matter, who have exposure to it. And ultimately, the goal is for us to reach remediation.
The Interministerial Committee is expected to complement the work of ZEMRIP and help end the problem which has affected thousands of people in Kabwe.
It's one of many challenges that can be resolved in various sectors. I think this is something I'll say openly that we're very proud of. The fact that we know that if there's one government that's going to resolve this long-term historic challenge, that it will be this particular one. So the public can be encouraged by the final closure of this. It will not be easy. We know that anything of the magnitude of this Kabwe-led issue will never be easy to resolve, but the fact of the matter is we're determined to do so.
In the end, the people of Kabwe can be assured that efforts being done by the World Bank and the government of Zambia will lessen their burden.
We want to assure the people of Central Province, the people of Kabwe and Zambia at large, that this president is a president who would not fold his arms akimbo and watch his people die. He's doing everything possible that he can to make sure that the lives of his people, the lives of his masters, the people of Zambia, are made much, much easier. And exactly this is what he has done to remedy the aspect of lead poisoning that is happening, or that happened years back, and now we're trying to remedy it here in Kabwe.